In the sun-drenched neighborhoods of South Florida, the Adelson family stood as a symbol of prosperity and unity. Their lives were marked by privilege, success, and a reputation for being both generous and fiercely protective of one another. The Adelsons were not just wealthy, they were a close-knit clan, bound by tradition and a deep sense of loyalty that extended through every generation. At the heart of this family was Donna Adelson, the matriarch whose influence shaped the lives of her children. Donna was more than just a mother, she was a guiding force, always present, always involved, and always ready to offer advice or step in when she felt it was needed. Her devotion to her children, especially her daughter Wendy and son Charles, was unwavering. She took pride in their achievements and was determined to keep the family close, no matter the cost. For a time, it seemed as though nothing could disrupt the Adelsons' perfect world. But everything changed when Wendy, Donna's beloved daughter, married Daniel Markel, a brilliant, ambitious law professor at Florida State University. Daniel was respected in his field, known for his sharp intellect and dedication to his work. The wedding was a joyful occasion, celebrated by both families, and it seemed to promise a bright future. However, Daniel's career took him to Tallahassee, hundreds of miles away from the Adelson family's South Florida home. The distance was more than just physical. It created a growing divide between Wendy's longing for the comfort of her family and Daniel's commitment to his profession and their children. Wendy found herself torn between two worlds, the familiar embrace of her family and the new life she was building with Daniel. As months passed, the strain became impossible to ignore. Arguments over where to live and how to raise their children became more frequent and intense. The Adelsons, especially Donna, struggled to accept Wendy's life so far from home. The emotional and geographic distance fueled resentment and misunderstanding, not just between Wendy and Daniel, but between Daniel and the entire Adelson family. What began as a simple disagreement over geography soon escalated into a bitter, all-consuming conflict. The family's once harmonious gatherings turned tense, with heated arguments and accusations echoing through their home. The Adelsons' desire to keep their family together clashed with Daniel's determination to stay in Tallahassee, setting the stage for a tragedy that would ultimately shock the nation. In those moments, the seeds of obsession and control were quietly sown. Donna's need to protect her family at all costs would soon have devastating consequences, unraveling the lives of everyone involved and leaving a legacy of heartbreak that no one could have foreseen. Wendy Adelson's divorce from Daniel Markel in 2012 was not just the end of a marriage, but the beginning of a fierce and bitter custody battle that would change their lives forever. The divorce ignited a fierce custody battle, with both parents determined to secure the best future for their children, but with very different visions of what that future should look like. Wendy wanted to move their sons to South Florida, closer to her family and support system. She believed it would provide a better environment for the boys. However, Daniel was adamant about keeping them in Tallahassee, where he had built his career and life. The court ultimately sided with Daniel, denying Wendy's request to relocate the children. This decision was a significant blow to Wendy and her family, who had hoped for a different outcome. For Donna Adelson, Wendy's mother, this was an intolerable defeat. She saw Daniel as the obstacle standing in the way of her family's happiness and unity. The tension between the families escalated. The Adelsons, who were used to getting their way, found themselves powerless in the face of the court's decision. Their frustration grew as they felt increasingly cornered and desperate. Prosecutors would later argue that Donna's mounting frustration turned into desperation. This desperation, they claimed, led to discussions about removing Daniel from the picture by any means necessary, a chilling turn in the custody battle. The custody fight had become more than just a legal battle. It had turned into a war, with the children caught in the middle. The emotional toll on the family was immense, and the children were the ones who suffered the most. The family's inability to control the outcome of the custody battle would have tragic consequences. The tension and animosity only grew, leading to a series of events that no one could have foreseen. The battle lines were drawn, and the plot was set in motion. What started as a fight for custody would soon spiral into something far more sinister, with devastating effects on everyone involved. With legal avenues exhausted, Donna Adelson's obsession deepened. Prosecutors say she and her son Charles began plotting Daniel's murder, believing his death would free Wendy to move home. Charles's girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, became the link to the criminal underworld. The plan hired hitmen for $100,000, funneled through the family's dental practice. Magbanua connected the Adelsons to two Miami criminals, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. This was no crime of passion. It was a calculated, cold-blooded conspiracy. The desire for control had crossed a line, and a deadly plan was set in motion. The stage was set for a shocking act of violence. On July 18, 2014, Daniel Markel's routine ended in tragedy. After dropping his sons at preschool and hitting the gym, he returned home, unaware he was being stalked. Garcia and Rivera, the hired hitmen, followed him to his garage. As Daniel parked, Garcia approached and shot him twice in the head. The killers sped away, leaving Daniel gravely wounded. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, but he died 14 hours later at age 41. The murder stunned the community and baffled investigators. There was no robbery, only a targeted hit. Soon, attention turned to Daniel's bitter custody battle and the Adelson family. The investigation would soon unravel a murder-for-hire plot that led straight to South Florida. The perfect family image was shattered forever. Investigators meticulously traced the rented white Prius, the car used by the killers, as it made its journey from Miami all the way to Tallahassee and back again. Surveillance footage, toll records, and GPS data placed Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera at the scene of the crime, leaving little doubt about their involvement. The car itself became a silent witness, its every mile logged and scrutinized by law enforcement, who were determined to unravel the truth behind the murder. The real breakthrough, however, came when investigators turned their attention to Catherine Magbanua. She wasn't just a bystander. She was the crucial link connecting the hitmen to the Adelson family. Magbanua had personal ties to both Charles Adelson and Garcia, making her the linchpin in the conspiracy. Her involvement raised new questions and opened up fresh leads for detectives, who began to dig deeper into her connections and her role in the plot. Cell phone records became a goldmine of evidence. Investigators uncovered a pattern of constant, almost frantic communication between Charles Adelson, Magbanua, and the two hitmen in the days leading up to and following the murder. Dozens of calls and text messages were exchanged, some at odd hours, suggesting coordination and planning. The digital trail painted a picture of a tightly knit group working together to execute a deadly plan. But it was the financial records that truly exposed the conspiracy. Large, unexplained cash payments flowed from the Adelson family's dental practice to Magbanua, and from her to Garcia and Rivera. These payments were carefully structured to avoid detection, but investigators followed the money trail, uncovering a web of transactions that pointed directly to the masterminds. The flow of cash revealed the motive and the means behind the murder-for-hire plot. Secret FBI recordings added another layer to the case. Undercover audio captured Donna and Charles Adelson discussing the aftermath of the murder, their conversations laced with anxiety, frustration, and hints of guilt. These wiretaps provided a rare glimpse into the mindset of the conspirators as they tried to navigate the fallout and avoid suspicion. Piece by piece, the evidence came together. In the courtroom, prosecutors laid out the connections, phone records, financial transactions, and secret recordings, all pointing to the Adelsons as the architects of the crime. The case was no longer just about the hitmen. It was about the family that had orchestrated and financed the entire operation. The digital and financial trails were undeniable. Investigators mapped out every call, every payment, and every movement, revealing a conspiracy that spanned cities and involved multiple players. The evidence left no doubt. This was a carefully planned family conspiracy, executed with chilling precision. As the investigation closed in, law enforcement prepared to make their move. Arrests were imminent, and the suspects could feel the pressure mounting. The net was tightening around everyone involved, from the hitmen to the masterminds who had orchestrated the crime from behind the scenes. With a mountain of evidence in hand, prosecutors built a powerful case against the Adelsons. The stage was set for a dramatic trial that would finally bring the truth to light and hold everyone accountable for their roles in the murder plot. Luis Rivera, facing the death penalty, flipped. He confessed and testified, detailing the entire plot. Sigfredo Garcia, the triggerman, refused to cooperate and was convicted of first-degree murder. Catherine Magbanua, the go-between, was also convicted and sentenced to life. For years, Charles Adelson evaded charges, but secret recordings and Magbanua's conviction finally brought him down. In 2023, Charles was convicted of murder, conspiracy, and solicitation, sentenced to life in prison. Only Donna Adelson remained, long suspected as the mastermind. With her son convicted and evidence mounting, prosecutors prepared to charge her. The matriarch who set everything in motion was about to face justice. The final act of this family tragedy was about to unfold. The web was complete. Days after Charles's conviction, Donna Adelson tried to flee the country with her husband, caught at the airport with one-way tickets to Vietnam. Her arrest was the dramatic climax to a decade-long investigation. Charged with murder, conspiracy, and solicitation, Donna pleaded not guilty. At trial, prosecutors played secret recordings and laid out the evidence, painting Donna as the controlling mastermind. The defense claimed she was just a worried mother, manipulated by others. The jury had to decide. Was she a loving grandmother or a cold-blooded killer? The answer would come swiftly. On September 4, 2025, the jury found Donna Adelson guilty on all counts. She broke down in court, her composure gone. The verdict confirmed her role in Daniel Markel's murder and sealed her fate, life in prison. Daniel's mother, Ruth Markel, spoke of her family's pain and the long fight for justice. "We have lost a treasure," she said, her words a reminder of the true cost of the crime. The Markels finally saw justice, though nothing could bring Daniel back. The matriarch who tried to control everything lost it all. The saga had reached its bitter end. The murder-for-hire plot destroyed two families, the hitmen, the go-between, Charles and Donna Adelson, all serving life or long sentences. Wendy Adelson and her father Harvey never faced charges, though questions linger. The case became a true crime sensation, a cautionary tale of obsession, privilege, and control gone deadly. Two young boys lost their father, a brilliant legal mind was silenced. The Markels endured years of grief, the Adelsons were undone by their own actions. The pursuit of control left only pain and shattered lives. The legacy of this tragedy will never be forgotten.